This is Ron Kelleher with the Inspired Leadership Podcast, episode number 553. Today's episode is entitled 5 Biblical Leaders Who Prove the Power of Seeking Help.
Hello, and welcome to Inspired Leadership, the podcast for Christian leaders in the marketplace who want to be the best leaders they can be. And now your host, Ron Kelleher.
There exists an enduring myth in our business culture that seeking help is a sign of weakness. Leaders, it seems, must bear the entirety of their burden alone, being self-sufficient in all situations, and stand as unwavering pillars of strength. Yet many seasoned leaders understand that this mindset is unrealistic, even detrimental to the well-being of leaders and their organizations. In the Bible, a trove of wisdom and guidance from many, including numerous Christian business leaders, we find powerful examples of leaders who understood the importance of seeking help. These individuals recognized that seeking help was not a mark of weakness, but one of strength. Let's examine the lives of Moses, Nehemiah, David, Paul, and Hannah to learn about seeking help from their experiences. First up is Moses. His story is told in Exodus 4:10-13. Moses felt overwhelmed when God chose him to liberate the Israelites from Egypt. Instead of pretending to have strength, he understood the importance of seeking help and didn't hesitate to do so. His actions led to God providing Aaron to complement his weaknesses, a lesson for contemporary leaders to recognize their limitations and seek help to build well-rounded teams. Next is Nehemiah. His story is in Nehemiah 1. Nehemiah was stirred to action when he heard about the ruins of Jerusalem's walls. Still, he didn't rush in recklessly. Nehemiah prayed, strategized, and understood the importance of seeking help from the king. His approach exemplifies the necessity of strategic planning and forming beneficial alliances, a lesson that today's business leaders can apply in their lives. Next is David. His story is told throughout the Psalms. The Psalms, filled with David's prayers, are a heartfelt pleas for protection and guidance. David's humility and reliance on divine guidance reminds us of the importance of seeking help, even in positions of power. This principle resonates deeply with business leaders who can benefit from the wisdom of mentors, advisors, and their teams. And next there is Paul, whose story is told in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 7-10. Paul, faced with his thorn in the flesh, a mysterious source of suffering, pleaded with God for relief, but God reassured him that grace was sufficient, teaching Paul the value of seeking help and transforming challenges into opportunities for growth and innovation. And finally, Hannah, whose story is told in 1 Samuel chapter 1. In her deep desire for a child, Hannah prayed fervently to God, demonstrating the importance of seeking help, persistence, faith, and patience. These virtues, as important in business as they are in our personal lives, often lead to success following periods of waiting and uncertainty. In conclusion, the act of seeking help acknowledges our shared humanity and interconnectedness. It strengthens relationships, promotes collaboration, and encourages the exchange of ideas. More than a sign of strength, wisdom, and humility for Christian business leaders, seeking help also expresses trust in God's providence and guidance. Leadership does not mean facing challenges alone. As Moses, Nehemiah, David, Paul, and Hannah understood the importance of seeking help, so should we as today's leaders. There is strength in vulnerability, wisdom in seeking counsel, and blessing in shared burdens. Understand the importance of seeking help and become the leader God intended you to be. Well, that's it for this week. And as always, questions and comments are welcome. Has pride ever kept you from seeking help from others when you needed it? I'd love it if you'd come over to the website at ronkelleher.com/episode 553 and leave me a question or a comment. And as always, before we go, I'd like to ask you to do me a quick favor, and that is to hop on over to whatever podcast service you're listening to this on. Leave a ranking for the show and a comment if you wish. It does help us get the show into the hands of more and more people. So I thank you in advance for that and pray that God would help us all to be the powerful and the inspired leaders He intends us to be. That's it for this episode of Inspired Leadership. You'll find a complete transcript of this episode on my website at www.ronkelleher.com. My prayer now is that you'll go out and be the powerful, inspired leader that God intends us to be.
Thanks for listening to the Inspired Leadership Podcast at www.ronkelleher.com.